Scott rolling in with head men's basketball coach Josh Schertz for our weekly report. The first one of the postseason. Postseason play officially gets underway tomorrow. Coach, let's look how you wrapped up the regular season on Saturday. A 95-73 win over Catawba to complete the first perfect sack season in league history on either the men's or women's side. Just another complete performance from your guys to get that 22-point victory. So talk about that, and then the celebration afterwards to cut down the nets.
Well, I think obviously coming the Catawba game, I thought first half they beat us to a lot of loose balls. I thought they were the more physical, more aggressive, tougher team. We were kind of going after everything with one hand, and they were going after it with two. And even though we were beating them on the backboards, it felt the opposite way. And we were up 10 at halftime because we made shots. I think we were 8 for 13 from the three, and that's what I told the guys at half. We were just making shots. We weren't. They were certainly, like I said, the better team. First 20 minutes, I thought the second half we got played with some more toughness. Played with some more physicality. I thought we started to win the loose ball battle. Started to get some of those 50-50 balls, and took better care of the ball. I thought first half we turned it over 10 times. Second half we turned it over 5, and I think 3 of those were in the final 2 minutes. And so really turned it over 2 times in the guts of the second half. So was pleased overall, obviously, with the performance. Second half particularly, I think it's one of those things. You'd like to see them play with a lot of energy and a lot of life for the entire 40 minutes, and that's not always realistic in a basketball season. But you got to credit Catawba for some of that because they have good players and they were ready to play. And I think second half we kind of matched their intensity. In terms of post game, I think that's as a coach probably the coolest thing, because you really once you become a coach, success doesn't. You have more of a big picture perspective. It doesn't become about you so much. It becomes about everybody else, and seeing those guys celebrate and kind of the unbridled joy of for them winning a championship, going undefeated inside the league, all those various factors coming together, and seeing them and their parents and just how happy they were. It's always great to see people invest and commit to something, and then see it actualized. So for them, for me it was very cool to watch them and see Dr. DeBusk and how happy he was, and the people around the program. That it's much less about you, and it's really more about seeing the joy in the other people, and that's kind of what coaching is anyway.
Well, now the second season begins. Postseason play. Tusculum coming in here on Wednesday for the SAC Championship quarterfinals. Very familiar with them, obviously. We've played them. This will be the 4th time we've met in the SAC Championship with Tusculum, a team that they gave us a good fight both times we played them, and they're coming in hot. 3 straight wins for the last 5, including just knocked off Queens in double overtime. So obviously you've talked about them. The thing with them is that they can beat you, or they can challenge you offensively in a number of ways. So obviously we know that we got a big challenge in the first round of the SAC tournament.
We do. I think when you look at the league, I think probably the 2 most difficult teams to guard are Tusculum, the way they're playing right now, and Lenoir-Rhyne, in terms of just having so many different ways to beat you, inside, outside, off the bounce. We kind of unleashed Javon Price there. 7-8 games ago when we were able to hold him to 30 points in 20 minutes. And he had played 2 minutes the game before against Lenoir-Rhyne. We had him on the scouting report, but towards the back end, and then he had 30, and I think he had 37 against Queens. It was watching that game, it was a pro level performance. I mean, step back threes, floaters to the rim. He was dynamic. Them beating Queens, who's obviously an excellent team, is impressive enough. For them to beat Queens and for Chase Mounts to get 0 points, that's what really blew me away. That in a game like that, Chase gets 0, and they were able to go in and take out Queens. And so both times we played, been very difficult. Mike's an outstanding coach. He probably doesn't get the credit that he deserves, but he's a terrific coach. He's got them playing their best basketball, and they're going to come in with confidence because again we've played 80 minutes of basketball. They've gone toe-to-toe with us. They had certainly their chances in both games. They could certainly look at both games and think they had chances to win, which would be realistic. We're going to have to really not allow it to become an offensive shootout. If it becomes a shootout, we have good offensive players as well, but if you're taking a big risk there. We've got to be able to sit down and guard them much better than we did the first 2 times. We've got to take things away. We certainly got to be ready to match, to fight them. We got to bring the fight to them a little bit. We can't, like in the first half against Catawba, we can't allow them to take the fight to us. And, Tusculum, again, that not only they, one thing again with the Queens game, 23 offensive rebounds. They're a terrific offensive rebounding team. They're a terrific scoring team. We're going to have to be great defensively, great on the defensive backboards. Offensively, obviously, the biggest thing for us is making sure we're getting shots every possession. We do that, we're going to give ourselves a chance because we have so many guys that can score as well. But no one can score. You turn the ball over. You're not only you're wasting opportunities offensively, but you're also compromising your defense with live ball turnovers, and that's kind of what happened against Catawba there in the first half.
When you're trying to make your 4th straight appearance in the championship game, and you've been in 4 of the last 5 championship games, obviously one of the big conversations this year has been how good the South Atlantic Conference has been. So what is it going to take from your team to get back to that SAC championship game and have a chance to win your 3rd SAC tournament title?
Well, I think you're going to have to play really well. The postseason's totally different. Everybody's 0-0. Whatever we did or didn't do in the regular season is gone. It's a whole new chapter, a whole new deal. And so everybody starts, kind of from ground zero. So the thing with our guys, has to be is, are they satisfied? And if they're not satisfied, are they willing to put the work in to have to play against and beat really good teams? Because that's what it comes down to in the postseason. You got to play and beat, outstanding opponents. And when you look at the South Atlantic Conference this year, this 8-team tournament is going to be incredibly difficult, an incredibly challenging run for whoever gets through it. And obviously, the NCAA tournament is going to be, the Southeast region is going to be extremely difficult. So, really moving forward, you're going to be playing great teams. Are you willing to put the work in? Are you going to rest on, what happened during the regular season? It's been a great season. And I think everybody inside the program, would say that whether we lose to Tusculum and lose first round of the NCAA tournament, it'd be a great season. But our guys are smart enough to know that you can't have a special season unless you perform in the postseason. And that's the key right now is the pressure's off to have a great season, but can we have a special season? And they understand that's how you perform starting now when we're back to 0-0.
Well, and how is the preparation different once you get into the postseason? Because in the regular season you get into the rhythm of that Wednesday, Saturday, and now you play on Wednesday and then hopefully a Saturday, Sunday type showdown, and then obviously the regional is a Saturday, Sunday, Tuesday kind of thing. So the preparation is so much different, the turnaround is so much quicker. How does that work internally within the program?
Well, I think you have to, at this point of the year, your nuts and bolts should be in. It's really just preparing for the opponent. I think when when we get into Wednesday's game, our sole focus is on Tusculum, and that's all we've prepared for Monday and Tuesday. We'll start looking, if we're fortunate to advance Thursday morning. Wednesday night we'll start preparation, staff will, for whoever we're going to play on Saturday, and look at Sunday, because I think at that point, Thursday, Friday, with a one-day flip, you need to kind of prepare for 3 opponents, and I think that's a very similar deal when you come out of coming into the regional. You got to look at your first-round opponent and then what's going to happen if you advance, because you don't have enough in a 45-minute shoot-around to go over everything. So you try to get your work done for your potential 3 opponents in that window. So it's different, but I think we've kind of been there a little bit at different times this year. We had that really short week in December where we played the 14th, 16th, 19th, and you got to kind of prepare for things ahead. And our guys are pretty intelligent. Again, you have your nuts and bolts in. You're still working to tweak things and then make sure you're performing at a high level. My biggest thing going into the tournament is obviously that we stay healthy. And that we continue to play well and kind of do what we've been doing. The one thing I told our guys, and I really believe, is we don't have to change anything here for the postseason. We just got to be who we've been, and that's an important thing. We don't have to do anything different or be anybody different. We just need to be who we are, and I think, and this from being in the program, we prepare for every game the same way. It doesn't matter if it's Hiawassee or Wingate or Queens or Coker or whomever. Every game is prepared for exactly the same way, and we don't differentiate. There's no bigger or smaller games. They all count the same. We approach them all the same, and hopefully that'll continue into the postseason. So that's the challenge, though. At this point of the year, you want your guys with fresh legs and a clear mind, and that's obviously, like I said, it's been a long year, but that's the challenge, and so we're all trying to get our teams to the games, fresh legs, clear mind.
Well, and assess where your team's at right now, heading into the postseason. 16-game winning streak. All 16 of those games have been wins by double digits. You got to really feel like this team is where it needs to be heading into the postseason.
Yeah, we're playing, played well. I think there's been games we've put together 40 minutes, like at Wingate and at Queens, and we've been really good. There's been other games where we've done it in spurts, and our spurts have been good enough to kind of carry the day. But look, this is a group that I'm really, again, amazed by to accomplish what it's accomplished, to run the league at 22-0, run the table in the league at 22-0 is incredible. Certainly, as we've discussed, it's a very talented team. I think the thing that really has been, for me, unique is the chemistry is the best. My 18 years doing this, never been around a team that has, such good chemistry. Guys not only understand their roles, but they embrace their roles. Guys are happy for each other's successes. There's no jealousies, envies, any of those things. And so, I think going into the postseason, I do think that we're fresh. Hopefully, March being here and a new chase, now the chase for the South Atlantic Conference tournament title, and then knowing the NCAA tournaments coming up, reinvigorates everybody, recharges everybody's batteries. The weather's getting a little bit nicer out, and so all those things, mean March is here, and this is again, this is the time where great seasons can become special seasons, and I think our guys are in a good place, mentally, physically. But as we all know, it's fragile. You got to be to advance deep in March. You got to be really, really good, certainly, and then you got to have some good fortune, because we're all a turned ankle or a foul trouble or a bounce of a ball away from one bad night and you go home here soon. So we all know it's fragile, but I think we're in as good a place as we could be heading into the postseason.